know that where you are and how things feel isn't how you want things to stay? Well, crank up the volume and get ready to cut the crap and start living the magic with Joanne Antoun and her specially selected guests. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your amazing life.
Welcome to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic. I'm your host, Joanne Antoun, your transformational expert and creator of CTC, the Life Transforming Combined Therapy Cocktail. Today, I'll be speaking with the fabulous Jamie Close. Jamie is one of Australia's leading holistic life coach and energetic healers who focuses on developing new paradigms of thinking. Jamie believes we are all here to fulfill our divine purpose, to follow our passions and live our highest excitements. He is passionate about inspiring and supporting people from around the world to break free from their inner prison and to awaken to the truth of who they really are and to lead a deeper, more meaningful life. Life purpose, love, the perfect body, transformation, dealing with your emotions, learning how to ground yourself in this sometimes crazy existence are all topics that Jamie specializes in. I can already tell that I'm going to love this conversation, and I'm sure that you are too. Now, with so much to talk about, I think we should just get straight into the show. Hi there, Jamie, and welcome. It's really great to speak with you today.
Hi, Joanne. How are you? It's been a pleasure.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Now, Jamie, I have so many questions, so much I want to share with our listeners. But, you're in the health and wellness industry and very much focused on bringing love into all that you do. Now, your journey has been one of extremes and certainly incredible experiences that have brought you to where you are today. Would you mind sharing with our listeners your journey, how you found yourself and how you came to do what you now do?
Okay, thank you, Joanne. Should they just wait until the book comes out?
One book, you mean the series of books?
A series of books. Would love to share with the listeners. That the first experience that came to me was when I was about 7 years old. And I was, even at that young age, was getting sort of bullied and picked on in primary school. And I remember one day walking down, my home was like a block away from the school. And as I was walking down my street, there was like this mulberry tree that had these beautiful mulberry berries. Mm-hmm. And so I remember this day, I was just picking some berries from the tree. And all of a sudden I had this sort of awareness or awakening where I felt completely different to everyone else in my existence or life. And the second sort of thought pattern that dropped into my awareness was that I'm here for a purpose, like a very big purpose, but had no idea of what it was. And that was back when I was 7 years old.
So would you say then at 7 that you started, were you feeling different or did you start seeking at that point?
I definitely felt different, and I had this sort of inner awareness in many experiences of, say, when I'd go to a party with my parents and I was like 7, 8, 9, and as I was growing up, and adults would just come to me and start telling me their problems. And I remember as like a young boy feeling and thinking to myself, why is this adult telling me their problems like I'm only a child? And I remember that would happen quite often as I was growing up.
Right. Okay. So things started for you at 7. And what about after that? I mean, what have been, what have your life experiences been? What's your journey?
So I think one of the biggest things for me was so the listeners understand, it's the family dynamics in a home are critical. How the parents interact and communicate with the children is very important. And for both of my parents, their mothers never once put their arms around them and said they loved them. And so obviously my parents' view of how love is communicated was very distorted. And so I was basically controlled by my mum. She was very overprotective. I had to be little mummy's boy to get to feel her love and affection, to get her love and affection. So it wasn't okay to be me.
Right.
And what happened by her controlling me in that way and taking my power away, I was seen energetically as an easy target. And so what I manifested was getting heavily bullied in primary school from a young age, and that went all the way through into high school. So I would have basically at, say, 9, 10 years old, walking a block away from school to my home, 12 guys in my year or above me in another year that were waiting to bash me up. So most afternoons I would be running away from bullies or getting beaten up by other guys. And so for me, I didn't really like my childhood because I was constantly being picked on and pushed down and shoved down and harassed, or I'd have a couple of guys come over in the classroom and start beating up on me. And I was very shy and introverted back then. So that I didn't really like my childhood in that respect. I didn't like the interactions at school. And for me, the way that I expressed myself and let myself out was on the football pitch as a goalkeeper playing soccer. So I really, on one hand, was getting bullied and picked on, and on the other hand, I would just pour all my love and my energy into being the best goalkeeper I possibly could.
Right, so you used that to deal with what was going on for you at school.
That and also I'd come home, and my mum was in musicals. So she sung and danced on stage and in musicals, so I also grew up with that influence. So I would actually come home from school after getting bullied, and I would lock myself in my bedroom, and I would listen to my favourite music, and I would sing. And so I would actually try to mimic the artist exactly as I could. And I remember I would sing for hours, and that would help me process and release the emotions that I was feeling from being bullied and picked on.
Right. And when did things change, or what did you do that made things change?
The initial change happened in high school. So I was around 16 years of age, and it got to the point where my parents were like, I was sick and tired of being controlled and told what to do, pretty much. So I just rebelled. Around 17, 18, 16, I rebelled and grew my hair long and got a couple of earrings, which nearly resulted in me getting kicked out of home. And then it was just rebelling. I just started telling people what I felt. I started fighting back. I went to the gym when I was 16 and started weight training and learnt boxing so I could physically defend myself. And then I just continued to step more into my power through 16, 17 and 18 years of age until I left high school.
Right. Did you find, was bulking up, you said you were going to the gym a lot, was bulking up really important for you? I know I have a lot of clients that have become professional bodybuilders, or certainly guys that bulk up, and they're all people that were bullied at school. Did you feel that you needed to do that so that you would be bigger and look tougher and basically scare them rather than have them scare you?
Yes, it was that. It was because I never felt safe. I was constantly bullied at home, by my parents and that dynamic, so I didn't feel safe at home growing up. And then I didn't feel safe at high primary school or high school. And so the whole weightlifting and boxing was so I could feel safe and defend myself. Mm-hmm. And yes, and that's gone on into later life. I'm aware how, because of not feeling safe when I was younger, of being bullied, that I ended up becoming a personal trainer and bulking right up so I would feel safe. That was how I would interact with the world.
Yeah, it was almost like hiding your inner child underneath the bulk, right?
Exactly. It was like a mask. It was like I didn't feel safe, so I had to build up this image and this body. And then that way I was getting love and affection because I didn't feel okay to be Jamie based on what happened when I was a little boy.
Right. And you yourself actually were on stage for a period of time. Are you happy to share that with us? I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, that's okay.
If you do this when we're on air, then you've really got no choice but to answer, right?
Oh, it's okay. I'm happy to share. So from that led me into becoming a personal trainer. I started running gyms, transformational challenges with people. And I remember there was a big gym in Sydney called the Health Oasis Hotel, and that was in the Novotel Hotel, and I used to manage the gym. And all the listeners may know of Bill Phillips that runs a big American supplement company. And basically we held the first challenge in our gym, transformational challenge. And it was at that time that I was managing the gym that this gentleman came into the gym to use the gym. And as client care, I would always have 3 touch points with people. So basically I approached this gentleman and we struck up a conversation and we just had instant rapport. It just flowed. We started laughing And when I asked him what he did, he said, I'm in finance. I like doing property renovations. I do a lot of catwalk modeling, and I'm also a stripper on the weekends. And I laughed. I burst out. I just went, like I just couldn't help myself. And he sort of looked at me and he says, why are you laughing? And I just said, well, I think with my sexy ass, I think I'd be pretty good at this. Yeah. And it was a bit of ego, there's a bit of ego there. And but we had this great rapport. And he looked me up and down. He grabbed me on the pec, on the chest, and he goes, would you like to give it a go? And at that stage, I thought, oh, my God, what had just come out of my mouth? Because I was not a dancer at high school. I needed to be drunk or on something to have the confidence to approach women, girls in my year or to dance. Because of all the bullying and getting picked on, I never felt safe, secure, and confident, But at this stage, I'd said to him, yes, I'll do it. And once I realized what had come out of my mouth, I started to freak out. And so he said, okay, when can you meet up? And I said, well, I can meet up tomorrow at 1:00 when I close the gym. And Joanne, I went home that night and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what did I do?
That's right. You put your hand up to be a stripper.
I was like, I can't dance. And there was all this negativity, all the little, that little negative voice inside my head was like a trombone shouting in my ear. And anyway, I turned up the next day and...
Tell me something. Did you go home that night, strip in front of the mirror and, try on some moves?
No, I was so scared. I was basically sitting in my room going, I have to turn up because I run the gym. I was not going to go into work the next day. So what ended up happening, to cut a very long story short, he showed me some moves and I was absolutely terrible. And I was absolutely terrible. I could see him out of the corner of my eye scratching his head going, oh my God, what have I done? But I practiced. It was just something I felt, this internal drive. So I practiced and practiced and practiced every day. And I became really, really good really quickly, to the point where he designed a routine for me, gave me a white naval uniform and produced all my music and gave me an agent. And I went and performed about 20 shows. And I remember my first show, Joanne, I walked, there was all these women screaming, going, la, 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 like noises from this house, and I was freaking out. And I remember 15 minutes, the show was supposed to go for 20. I think all my clothes off except the G-string were off in 5 minutes because I was so nervous. But I remember walking out from that first event just feeling so happy and confident and free. And I had my costume under one arm and a fistful of $100 notes in the other hand. And I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this 10 years?
Money, girls, you had everything.
Money, girls, but it was, I think that the most important thing for me that had me dance for 12 years was how I felt. I felt free. And it helped me to process a lot of energy and emotion. And then 20 shows later, obviously the feedback from the agent was phenomenal. I kept getting all these bookings, these rebookings. And this guy, Carl, asked me if I wanted to be in the Australian Chippendales. And so that was my in to the Chippendales. And then we toured around Australia and overseas, dancing on some pretty big stages in front of some large audiences. And, we're on TV and all the magazines. And it was like a tribute to Hollywood. So I sang in my number, we danced, there was some acting. And it was just an incredible evolution of myself. I kept growing. Every time I performed, I overcame some nervousness and let go of some emotions and felt more confident within myself.
Right. And where did that lead to? How, what did your life look like?
From that experience?
Yes, yeah.
It actually launched one of my men's programs, Reveal Your Inner God. So as I was managing that gym, I was already a Reiki master, teaching meditation, massaging clients. I never wanted to be a male performer, but that's just what happened. And so after that, my transformation was being able to express myself and to dance and felt confident, and then being able to actually feel confident enough to speak to women, especially if I was attracted to them. So I really saw a niche there for men, to help men evolve, to help men to learn how to dance and feel comfortable in their body and increase their self-worth and their confidence. So I created a men's program called Reveal Your Inner God, which is a combination of a classic men's group and having men feel more comfortable talking about their emotions and what went on for them as a child. And then I would use bioenergetic movements to get them really grounded and out of their head. And then I would teach them as dancing, a stripping routine from the Chippendales.
Right.
And that way you could see where someone's body was frozen and where they were holding the emotions and the trauma. And then over the 6-month period, I'd give them nutritional guidelines, cleansing guidelines. I would train them in the gym and give them their nutritional guidelines. And after 6 months, they completely transformed their life.
Wonderful. And you were doing that at the same time that you were doing the Chippendales, is that right?
Just post Chippendales.
Okay, wonderful. So basically your lesson in your life had been very much around self-worth, and then through your experiences you've gone on to teach others how to do that, or how to love themselves, find themselves and free themselves. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Now, and from there, so you started doing these workshops, and now you do quite a few different workshops, don't you?
I certainly do, yes.
Right. What do you see most people suffering from, and what is your approach in helping them? How do you do that?
Okay, over the years, especially being in the health and fitness industry for nearly 22 odd years now, the biggest thing I see is people struggle with their body. It's either a lack of energy, it's either the sticky pounds or kilos that just won't seem to shift. It may be that mental fogginess. A lot of people actually these days are really dependent on medication as well. And just generally their physical body's suffering. I'm also seeing a lot these days of people being financially stressed as well, and being really, not following their passions. So they're staying at jobs and in occupations that they're completely not passionate about. So their life force isn't expanded and excited, and their inner child is unhappy because they're going to this shitty office day in, day out. And when the physical body's health's lacking and we're not following our passion, then it's just life becomes a grind.
Yeah, so being an energetic healer and obviously being aware of all the energetic shifts that are happening on the planet, right now, in your opinion, why are so many people, I mean, obviously, people aren't living their purpose and their passion and they're caught up in the grind and what have you, but why is it that so many people don't realise that this is what's necessary in order for them to take that step and that leap? Because I just see so many people are stuck. In your opinion, why are they choosing to stay there?
Well, it's the way I look at it is multi-layered, but really we're not given the guidelines to life. When we were born, God didn't turn around and say, there's the guidelines, this is what you need to do for your body, this is how you manifest things, this is how you release emotion. Like, we weren't given that. And so we're brought up in a system that's designed a certain way, and we're not given the rule book, we're not given the guideline book on how we function in this life. So we're brought up being conditioned by our family and our immediate environment, and we go through life thinking we're doing what we're meant to be doing when we're not. So it's challenging, because then there's all this marketing out there online saying, do this and get 6-pack abs, and it's all just marketing, and it's not really, it's not so much educating, it's not helping people to remember the truth of who they are and how powerful that they are. And it's not, I'm just feeling just lots of emotion come up around this because I'm so passionate about it.
So, alrighty, a lot of people, and you did mention this a moment ago, the amount of people that are on drugs, antidepressants, and even stimulants, all because they're trying to avoid the present moment. And that's really what it's coming down to. It's a game of avoidance or, hiding.
Yes.
What is it you do? What is it you offer that helps make the difference, or helps people to see that there is light out there?
Okay, so I'm just getting goosebumps as you ask me that. So one of the biggest things that I see is, look, our body is like a walking encyclopedia, as you know, Joanne, and it holds like the record of memory and the emotions. So every experience we've had from when you're in your mother's womb up until now, good, bad, or indifferent, you hold on to that emotion in your body. Now, what happens is that emotion radiates outward from your physical body, co-creating your reality. So what some people might be able to relate to is if they're having a bad day and they're feeling angry, they'll start attracting angry experiences.
Yeah.
Or if they're having a really happy day and they feel amazing, they attract more amazing, happy experiences. So what happens, you've got all of the suppressed emotions that are sort of like frozen pockets of energy and emotion in their body that drive the negative self-talk. And all those experiences we had growing up, we started to create beliefs about ourselves. So if our parents treated us a certain way, we might say to ourselves, I'm not worthy of their love, I'm not lovable. So that's not really the truth of the matter. They just had their stuff going on, but we felt a certain way. So the feelings and the belief, like the feelings reinforce the belief and the negative stories in our mind. But the thing is, everyone's ungrounded because of the busy lifestyle, emails, phone calls, and the shoes that we wear. So just so people get an idea, everyone pretty much knows what a car battery looks like. You've got two terminals. You've got a red terminal and a blue or black terminal. And the red terminal is basically the power, and that goes to the starter motor on the engine. And then the other terminal, Joanne, do you know what the other terminal is often referred to?
What's that?
It's called the earth. Mm-hmm. So that earth lead needs to be connected either to the chassis of the car or the motor so the electricity flows. And if that earth lead or the power lead's not connected, there's no flow, so the motor won't start.
Right. Now, I'd love to actually get into this in a fair bit of detail. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll start discussing the fact that we need to be grounded and the earth terminal that you were just talking about.
Excellent.
Everybody, I'm Joanne Antoun, and you're listening to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic. I'm here with my special guest, Jamie Close. Do visit his site at jamieclose.com. That's JAMIECLOSE.com. Stay tuned, folks. Coming up after the break is more awesome conversation with Jamie. We'll be right back with more.
Joanne Antoun, transformational expert, founder and creator of CTC, the 2-hour life-transforming combined therapy cocktail, more fondly known as Cut the Crap, is coming to the USA. Become a CTC master therapist, transform your life and the lives of others. Join the team of transformation in 2016. Choose to live a life you love and love what you do. For more information and a scholarship opportunity, visit iictc.net.
Have you had enough of feeling stuck and unsure of what direction to take? Are you ready to be free of the past and finally get rid of the fears, phobias, anxiety, and depression for good? Are you ready to cut the crap and create the future you desire? In just one 2-hour session, CTC, the life-transforming combined therapy cocktail, can help you do just that. Set yourself free now. Visit iictc.net for more details.
Welcome back to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic. I'm Joanne Antoun. Today I'm speaking with the gorgeous and incredibly warm-hearted Jamie Close. Now, Jamie, when we left off, we were talking about the fact that everybody is ungrounded, and you were using the analogy of the car battery. If we could continue with that, please.
Yes, certainly. So basically, we've got those two terminals. Mm-hmm. Now, if the terminal's not connected, if one of the terminals is not connected, there's no flow of energy or electricity. And in the car battery, there's cells that need the water to hold the charge and to flow the electricity. If there's no water, then the battery's not going to hold the charge and the car won't start. So our body's pretty much the same. We have all these cells in our body, and water's a conductor. So what's one of the first signs of someone being dehydrated? Tired.
Yeah.
Tired, no energy. And so, and also when people get a headache, quite often it's due to dehydration. So it's not so much the aspirin they have with the water, it's the glass of water that's getting rid of the headache.
Of course, yeah.
So basically, with our bodies, we must stay hydrated. And I think it's about a litre per 22 kilograms of body weight per day.
Right.
So what, 40-odd something pounds. And the thing is, we need to be grounded. So this is the thing. When we're walking around in sneakers and leather shoes, we're not grounded. We're not energetically grounded to the earth. So it's very, very important to stay hydrated, but to walk barefoot on grass, or even if it's just walking barefoot around the home, to really make sure that our energy is flowing down to the earth. I know it might sound a little bit out there, but it's basic physics. It's not woo-woo at all. It's electronics, it's energy, and we must be connected and grounded to the earth so the energy flows through our body. But when we're ungrounded, all those emotions and the negative beliefs, our energy is upwardly displaced in our body. So what that means is when we're ungrounded and we're a little bit dehydrated, our energy stays up in our head where all the negative voices are.
Okay, so you're basically feeding the negative voices.
That's right. You're feeding the negative voices because the energy is not flowing in through the top of your head and down through your feet into the earth. Because you're ungrounded, it's staying up in your head. And what's in your head? All the negative self-talk fueled by the emotions from past experiences.
Right. Okay. And you actually run workshops on grounding and meditation, don't you?
Yes, I do weekly classes here in Melbourne, Australia, and I also run weekly webinars as well and take people through the grounding techniques and through the breathing and then through a meditation as well.
Okay. Are you able to maybe share with our listeners a little tip with the grounding? Obviously, you've mentioned walk barefoot, stay hydrated. What breathing technique could you maybe share with them for people that spend all day at the computers, for instance? And a lot of us do that these days. You know, we're sitting on our butts at the computer. What can people maybe stop and do a couple of times a day that would help to ground them again?
Okay, fantastic. Love to share. So let's use like an office scenario. So if someone's in an office, then they're better off sitting on a fit ball, on one of those large exercise balls.
Yeah.
Obviously, they may have to check with OH&S in the workplace. I've done a lot of corporate talks when they've bought the fit balls because, see, when you're sitting on a chair, the chair's not moving, it's dead, it's stagnant. And so it's not really good for posture and spine. So when you're sitting on one of those larger exercise balls, it's got a little bit of bounce, but it keeps the energy flowing in your body.
Right.
Secondly, there's also chairs you can purchase that have like a small rubber ball, like a fit ball there. So that's going to comfort the spine and help your energy to flow. Third would be to stay hydrated. Fourth, if you can't take your shoes off in the office place, then just try scrunching your toes like in your shoes. So you're flexing all the muscles in your feet, because what that's doing, that's stimulating reflexology points, and it's stimulating some meridian points. So the meridians are what the Chinese acupuncturists put needles in. And that's what channels energy throughout the body. They're like channels of energy. So when you flex and squeeze your feet, you're stimulating the energy flow down to your feet and out of your head. And with your breathing, you'd be sitting upright in your chair or on your Fitball, and you would use deep diaphragmatic breaths. So breathing in through your nose, but then allowing your stomach to expand out. So you're drawing the air down. A lot of people do chest breathing.
Yeah, very shallow breathing.
Very, very shallow breathing. So that doesn't oxygenate your blood. So when you breathe, leave your shoulders and upper chest to be relaxed. And say, for instance, place your hands on your stomach. And as you breathe in through your nose, physically push your stomach out. And then as you exhale through your mouth, draw your navel back into your spine. And that would be stage one of how to use your diaphragm to get the air down deeper into the lungs to oxygenate your blood. And that draws the energy from your head down through into your pelvis and into the rest of your body.
Okay, and is it important to breathe out or to exhale through your mouth? Because a lot of people don't.
Yes, I know. People just breathe through the nose. What I've seen in my practice with clients and in the groups I work with is when people breathe in through their nose, that deep diaphragmatic breath, when they exhale from their mouth, their whole body just relaxes so much more.
Right, okay. So obviously shallow breathing does contribute to headaches and migraines, and the shallow breathing normally comes about because people feel overwhelmed, they've got too much on their plate, and we start to, as we become stressed, we breathe quite shallow. So the deep breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth is far better than in and out of the nose, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Something that, can I just quickly share that just popped into my awareness?
Of course.
Was we choose to be stressed. And I know you know this too, Joanne. It's like we choose to be stressed. So if we're feeling overwhelmed and obviously we don't have a plan because we're feeling rushed, we're feeling overwhelmed, there's too much on. So the first thing to do if we're feeling stress or overwhelmed is to stop, is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And if you can, to stand up and keep your knees slightly bent and just take hands on the stomach, a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, and that will instantly help the body to relax and calm down. And then it's a matter of shifting our physical mind. Instead of focusing our physical mind on what's not working and feeling the overwhelm, shift the physical mind and focus it onto something that serves us. So we could start asking some better questions like, how many more ways can I write a plan to be more effective? Or, so if we ask a better question and direct our physical mind onto a path moving forward and we keep breathing, then that will take us out of that overwhelmed state a lot faster.
Yeah, and that's so important to ask a different question or to ask the right question, because there is always another way.
Absolutely.
And often in that moment of overwhelm, we're just caught up and we believe there is no other way.
That's right.
So you mentioned we should stand up and have our knees slightly bent when we're doing the deep breathing. Why do our knees need to be slightly bent? What's the theory behind that?
Okay, so what actually happens on an energetic level when you stand with your knees locked out and stiff, it dramatically reduces the energy flow down the body, and it actually sort of pushes the energy flow or keeps the energy flow up. See, because energy, that universal energy, life force flows in through the top of the head and down through the body. So if we lock out our knees when we're standing all the time, we're going to feel a little bit unstable and our energy will be up. If we bend our knees and breathe in through our nose and out through the mouth, automatically we feel more relaxed and grounded just through bending the knees and breathing.
Right, and bending the knees also straightens the spine a little, doesn't it? Because when we've got our legs straight, we tend to have an arch in the lower back.
Exactly.
I know I'm a big fan of Qigong, and everything is based on obviously having the knees slightly bent, so feet apart and knees slightly bent, which does make a huge difference to relaxation. So we've got Christmas just around the corner, Jamie, and most people at this time of year, they want to be free of the shit that's held them back. They want to step into their power. We all make New Year's resolutions and all those sorts of things. What do you feel are the top 5 keys to success in living a healthy and fulfilled life?
Okay, beautiful. I was hoping you were going to ask me something like that. For me, it's the 5 elements. They're the 5 keys because they give us the areas so we can create more balance in our life. So if everyone would visualize, say, the Great Pyramid in Egypt, it's got 4 corners and it's got an apex, a peak at the top. So really the 5 elements is all about physical, energetic, mental, and emotional health. So at the bottom of the Great Pyramid in Egypt, you can see on each corner, you've got physical health on one corner, energetic health, mental health, and emotional health, which forms a solid foundation. And then basically the top apex is the spiritual health. Now, whatever that means for someone, it's not a religious thing. It's just whatever you view that higher aspect of yourself as. So the 5 keys is making sure that we're looking after ourselves physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Okay, and what are your tips for doing that? How do we look after ourselves in all those areas?
Okay, beautiful. So at first, always starts with the physical body, because the physical body is the vehicle or sacred temple, as I refer to, for our soul, for our energy. So we must look after the physical body through not just exercise and clean eating. That's not enough these days with the level of toxicity in our environment. So we do need a cleansing aspect to flush out the toxins, because that's what the body does. The body wraps fat around the toxins to protect itself. So what happens when the physical body's undernourished, which everyone's pretty much is because of the poor food chain, when it's undernourished and we're storing the chemicals operations and functions in the body start to break down. We carry weight, our energy goes down, and problems start to occur in the body. So the physical body is the first aspect of cleansing, of eating beautiful, clean food, exercising, and especially outdoors as well. Doing or receiving massage, getting massages, work on the physical body so you straighten your posture. And also something I'll be happy to give away too is the 5 rights, which are 5 basic exercises similar to yoga but a little bit different. And what they do is they straighten your spine. They activate the muscles through the back of the body. They lengthen the muscles through the front of the body. And they actually help you to straighten your spine and feel more calm and grounded and at peace.
Right. And do you have them on one of your websites, do you?
I've got a 10-minute video training that I'll happily will give to all the listeners.
Okay. And how do they get in touch with you in order to receive that?
Well, the easiest way would if they went to jamieclose.com and there's an opt-in box there where they receive the 10 Pillars of Health, which is my ebook. And what I'll do also is once I have their email address, I'll send them a personal email and give them the link to the 5 rights to that training video.
Wonderful, thank you. So all they need to do is opt in, and do they let you know that they've listened to this show, or the opt-in will automatically do that?
Yes, there's a little area for notes there, so they can just say that they heard the interview.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And that's a fantastic offer for our listeners out there. So do visit Jamie's site, and that's jamieclose.com, JAMICLOSE.com. Okay, so if we can get into a little bit more detail with those, the keys to success in those areas of life.
So first we start with the physical body, and then we move across to energy. So energetically, one affects the whole. Now, most of us have heard that saying. So what we do physically is by cleansing the body and nutrition and exercise and massage, the 5 rights, by cleaning out the temple, automatically that increases your energy. But what we can also look at doing is like feng shuiing the home, clearing out the clutter from your home, because that will raise the energy and the vibration of your immediate environment. You could also look at receiving some healing, so maybe some energetic healing sessions, some Reiki and meditation, because those practices expand your aura and have you energetically feel lighter, so you will flow more energy. So a lot of people say, pardon me, I don't have a lot of energy or I feel sluggish. Look after the physical temple first and your energy will lift. And then by using some sort of visualization of your goals, meditation, breathing and energy healing and feng shui, that will raise your energy. So energetically, you're looking after yourself. And then with
visualization, you're obviously bringing in also the power of the mind and affirmations as well. Is that right?
Absolutely, which moves us into the next corner, the next pillar, which is the mental. So physical, energetic, mental. So with mental, we can have like a vision board with pictures of that which we desire to manifest in our life. And we also have, everyone's heard of pretty much of affirmations or positive statements. So what I love to do with my clients and everyone listening is write down, say, some goals. And with the goal, you want to chant that out loud. So instead of just reading it and saying, every day and every way I'm feeling stronger and stronger, you would read it out with some passion and movement and say, every day and every way I'm feeling stronger and stronger. And then that way, what it does, it's lifting your energy, it's programming your body and your nervous system with passion, with more intent and more confidence and more strength. And what it does, it raises your physical body's level of vibration, which is more in alignment with what's on your vision board.
Right, of course. So we're saying it out loud with passion. Also, you mentioned movement. Is that because we know now with the brain that what fires together wires together? So we're actually locking it into not only our brain, but also our physical body, our physical brain.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So if we reverse engineer how our disempowering beliefs were created, we had multiple experiences as a child in a similar situation that we felt an emotion, the same emotion over and over and over again. So to reverse engineer that, to create a new empowering belief and to actually manifest that which we desire, we put the picture up of that which we desire, and then we write down the affirmation associated with that thing or experience we desire, and then we say it over and over again, and we feel the emotions in our body of already having that on our vision board. And then we do that daily over and over and over again, and that raises your vibration, so it's an energetic match to that which you desire, and therefore all of a sudden opportunities and experiences will start showing up that will lead you in the direction to achieving that.
Wonderful. Now, for our listeners out there, we, of course, put our affirmations or our chants out there always in present tense. So we never use the words will or going to. So I'm not going to be a success or I will be a success. I am a success. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Everything's always in present tense.
Yes,
Bring it
absolutely.
into the moment. Okay, so that's mental. And what's next?
Is emotional. So basically, when we look after our physical body, that raises our vibration. We start to think clearer thoughts and we have more energy. When we're doing all the energetic stuff, then that obviously raises everything up again. Mentally, well, once again, it's fueling the other two. We're going to feel better in our body because we're stronger and more focused mentally. So emotionally, after working on the other three, we're going to feel happier and feel more confident. But in the emotional cornerstone, we still have the suppressed emotions in our body from the experiences in our childhood. So this is where it's called energetic healing or breath work, or even body psychotherapy, which I studied for quite a few years. It's all revolved around releasing the emotional trauma from the physical body.
Okay. Is that like a trigger point? Is that the very same as that?
No, what it acts like a trigger. So say, for instance, you're driving along in your car and someone cuts you off quite viciously. Some of us would react and get really angry, like feel triggered and be rageful. And some of us would be like, oh, wow, I wonder what's really going on for them. So we react to different situations based on what emotional charge is in our body. So the emotional aspect is around about doing healing work to release the emotions that are trapped in the cells of our body.
Okay, fantastic. Now, the apex of all that is spiritual. We're going to go to a break and we'll come back and start talking about the spiritual stuff. I'm Joanne Antoun and you're listening to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic. Here with my special guest, Jamie Close. Do visit his site, folks, at jamieclose.com. Stay tuned. Coming up after the break is more awesome conversation with Jamie. We'll be right back with more.
Joanne Antoun, transformational expert, founder and creator of CTC, the 2-hour life-transforming combined therapy cocktail, more fondly known as Cut the Crap, is coming to the USA. Become a CTC master therapist, transform your life and the lives of others. Join the team of transformation in 2016. Choose to live a life you love and love what you do. For more information and a scholarship opportunity, visit iictc.net.
Have you had enough of feeling stuck and unsure of what direction to take? Are you ready to be free of the past and finally get rid of the fears, phobias, anxiety, and depression for good? Are you ready to cut the crap and create the future you desire? In just one 2-hour session, CTC, the life-transforming combined therapy cocktail, can help you do just that. Set yourself free now. Visit iictc.net for more details.
Welcome back to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic. I'm Joanne Antoun. Today I'm speaking with the gorgeous and incredibly warm-hearted Jamie Close. Now we're having an incredible conversation. We're now heading to the spiritual aspect in order for you to discover the keys to living a healthy and fulfilling life. Over to you, Jamie. Let's talk spiritual.
Beautiful. So now that we've got that strong foundation, we're physically feeling healthier, our energy's up, We're mentally, we're focused and we're positive, moving forward. Emotionally, we're feeling happier every day and we're having better relationships with ourselves and everyone in our life. Then that gives us that solid foundation to actually expand and to grow as a soul, as a being. So we're all a soul in a physical body having a human experience. But if one of our pillars or multiple of our cornerstones, are not in balance and not functioning properly, then we're not going to really be able to manifest and have the most fulfilling life and grow as a person. So that's why it's important to physically, energetically, and mentally and emotionally look after ourselves and our health and nurture the relationship with our inner child. So therefore we have more of an alignment within ourselves of our relationship with our inner child, our adult self, and also our soul, our higher self. And that connection to God, whatever that is for people, that spiritual aspect for me is that connection to God. It's that connection to that higher aspect of ourselves. But when other areas of our life are imbalanced and we're in pain, then that limits our expansion as a being.
Okay, wonderful. Now, you've also written 10 Pillars of Health. Would you mind quickly sharing those with us? What are the 10 Pillars of Health?
Yes, certainly. So the 10 Pillars of Health is a book that a small ebook that I channeled about 4 or 5 years ago. And basically the first 5 pillars are the fundamentals for sustaining life in physical form. And then the next 5 pillars of what I call the bridge between the worlds, or the fundamentals for sustaining a balanced approach to life. So the pillars are air, water, sunlight, sleep, whole foods, exercise, meditation, environment, responsibility, and healing. And so those 10 pillars we map across into the 5 elements which we just spoke about: physical, energetic, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Right, okay. And you have these available on your website, do you?
Yes, when people opt in and leave their name and email address, they'll automatically be sent an email with the ebook, The 10 Pillars of Health.
Fantastic, and that's on jamieclose.com. So also very excited, you have a new book that you've been working on, A Journey Back to Love. How did that come about?
Okay, I just completed a successful tour of America earlier this year in August, September. And before I went over, one of my close friends who trains martial arts with me were having a chat one day, and she said, "You know what, Jamie, I just have this feeling there's a book coming from this trip." And we both sort of had goosebumps. And she says, "You must go on this trip." And I said, "Well, I'm going on the trip. I've been invited to speak at a conference." But she said, "Yes, there's a book coming." And I was like, okay. So that was in the back of my mind. And at the conference in Michigan, when I came off stage, there was a lady sitting there that we just had this connection. I just looked at her and I just knew that I needed to speak with her. And after about an hour and a half in the conversation, it dawned on me that her passion is helping people write their story into a book and share their passion. And so I extended my stay a couple of days. And this lady, Maria, is just amazing lady from Michigan. And she took me through a process. It was 12 hours in total. And the first 6 hours was around, like, who's your avatar? Who are the people that you work with most? And then it was like listing out all their pain points of what, their challenges are. And then I would write bullet points of what the solution is to help them. And then Maria said to me, "Oh, I don't know why, I need to show you this video." And it was a music video by some friends of hers who sang this beautiful song on love. And as I was watching this video, I had tears well up in my eyes, I had goosebumps, and then boom, out of nowhere, the name of the book, A Journey Back to Love, popped into my awareness.
Lovely.
And then I sat down and Maria interviewed me for 6 hours. And so I went into a deep meditation and channeled the book. So I actually don't know what I wrote until I read the transcriptions. But it was 6 hours of just nonstop information coming out of me. And Maria was like, her jaw had dropped. And when I opened my eyes, it was a very spiritual experience. I've never experienced something so profound before. But really the essence of the book, The Journey Back to Love, the cover is a picture of like the words "a journey back to love," and then there's a big love heart, and then there's a winding path to the love heart with an adult and a little child holding hands. So really, the journey back to love is a journey of self-healing and deepening the relationship with your inner child.
Yeah, it's almost like a journey back to the self, like the true self, isn't it? How beautiful. And when are you hoping to release that?
That'll be released early in the new year.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Now, can you please give our listeners an overview of your online program? You've got a program that's called Design Your Perfect Body, Holistic Health from the Inside Out. What can people expect from this program?
Okay, this program, basically it's like what I do with my one-on-one coaching clients, but in a group scenario. And it covers the 5 elements that we spoke about, the physical, energetic, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Mm-hmm. It covers the 10 pillars of health as well. So it's a weekly webinar for 2 hours that runs for 6 months. And I take people through how to nutritionally cleanse their body, how to build the vision board, how to let go of the suppressed emotions in their body, how to ground their energy. I tailor a morning routine for them, an evening routine. We look at nutrition, we look at hydration, we look at, what are their passions and what excites them most. So it's like a complete life transformation over a 6-month period.
Okay, fantastic. And do you have that program running now, or is that starting in the new year?
Yeah, I'm completing one program now. I've got a whole group of people in America from my last tour that are in the process of the last month of that program. And in the new year, yes, I'll definitely be starting another one as I'm touring America again next year in 2016.
Okay, wonderful. And what have you got coming up? What workshops have you got coming up? Where can people find you or find out more about you?
Okay, the best way right now, because we're building a new website, the best way is to look me up on social media under Jamie Close, or also under The Vitality King. That'll be my fan page, The Vitality King, and I'm posting on a regular basis workshops and retreats there. My next retreat is this weekend here in beautiful sunny Melbourne, Australia. Mm-hmm. And I'll be planning a series of, I'll be having actually a series of retreats through Asia, coming from December 27 through till March. And then around about June, July, August, September, I'll be back in America.
Fantastic. Jamie, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I'm sure my listeners would agree. This has been jam-packed with so many tips and so much information. So thanks again, and we're at the end of today's show, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Do join me again for my next show, where I'll have another awesome guest who is sure to motivate and inspire you. If you'd like to contact me directly, do visit my site. That's joanneantoun.com, or you can hear today's and previous shows again on iTunes. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, happy and safe holidays to you all.
You've been listening to Cut the Crap and Start Living the Magic with Joanne Antoun. Tune in every second Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, as Joanne and her specially selected guests inspire you to live each moment of your life with absolute love and passion. Want to connect with Joanne directly? Visit www.joanneantoun.com. That's joanneantoun.com, and find out just how easy it is to heal the past, live in the present, step fully into your power, and easily create the future you desire.